What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of Diamond Discourse presented by Beyond the Monster. This, folks, will be your one-stop shop for all things baseball. It'll be hosted by none other than me, Matty Kiwoom. And I will introduce myself a little bit later in the show, whether it be breaking down the trades and transactions around the MLB, breaking down some of the most epic games during the season, or just talking about baseball's hottest topics. You'll want to come here on the Beyond the Monster YouTube channel because I, Mr. Matty Kiwoom, has got you covered. Step up to the plate, join the conversation, and we're going to talk about the best sport on the planet, baseball, people. This is Diamond Discourse. Let's talk ball. Today's first segment is going to be some headlines from around the league, get you caught up from all the happenings of the past week or weekend. I know Christmas just happened. We're in the middle of the holiday season, so you might not know exactly what's going on, so I got you covered. And we're going to talk about some of the biggest highlights over these past few days, some of these big transactions, trades, signings, all this stuff in the MLB. This is the hot stove part of the season, right? I mean, there's trades, there's signings, there's moves, maneuvers. Teams are trying to jockey for position as we head. Spring training is really just now, just a month away. So let's get into the first headline. Walker Buehler signs with the Boston Red Sox for 1 year and $21 million. Now, that amount that he signed for, that 21.05, that is not a coinky-dink. Yeah, that wasn't them trying to just jockey at position. That was literally, I believe, perfectly. I think it was exactly the qualifying offer. The Dodgers decided to not extend that qualifying offer to Buehler. So when the Sox signed him, they essentially gave him the money that they did offer Nick Pivetta. Nick Pivetta declined the qualifying offer. So they will be able to sign Walker Buehler. The Sox brought him aboard. They're not going to have to give up a pick, which is great. That's exactly what this front office has been trying to do as a Sox fan, which I am. I've had my frustrations with the ownership, but I think Craig Breslow so far this offseason has done a pretty damn good job. Just trying to make moves, trying to better this roster without having to dip too far into ownership's pockets, because I know what we can't do. We can't have billionaires spend money to win games anymore here in Boston. Just whatever. That's a conversation for later. I'm not going to get into that. This is the headlines. First episode, Diamond Discourse. But the signing of Walker Buehler makes a whole lot of sense for the Red Sox. Bring him in for a 1 year deal. It's my honest opinion that 1 year deals can't be bad deals because they're off the books in a calendar year. Walker Buehler, though, he will look to rebound in a massive way. He's only pitched in a handful of games over these past two seasons, 28 total games, 140 innings total in 2022. Missed, obviously, in 2023 with Tommy John, and then last year when he came back, only 75 and a third innings. So he's going to really look back. He's going to want to regain some of that energy, some of that excitement, some of that production that he had on the mound in 2021. There are some encouraging analytics when you kind of look into the profile of Buehler. Some of the the X stats, the X ERA, Sierra, they weren't as inflated as the 5.38 ERA, which I think is a good sign. And one thing that I did want to look up after this signing was, what did his fastball velocity look like last year? Well, it was at 95. He's usually sat anywhere from 95, mid 95s. He has thrown harder than that, but that is why he probably had his Tommy John surgery, throwing a little bit too hard. Now, Andrew Bailey's going to get his hands on him, and he's going to be able to obviously kind of I don't think he's going to repurpose his repertoire all that much. But, of course, Bailey has shown the ability to tweak pitchers in a positive way. So the Red Sox go ahead and get another pitcher. They've now added two top of their rotation type arms. And, they traded for Garrett Crochet, and now they've signed Walker Buehler. And it is my opinion. This is strictly my opinion, not my prediction. Some people that I've talked to do disagree. I would make Walker Buehler my opening day starter. I know you want to roll out Garrett Crochet as, this franchise's guy at 25 years old, but sometimes in these locker rooms, you want to support the vet, right? It's a symbolic gesture. It's not real. It's a fugazi. It doesn't matter who starts opening day. But for Buehler, this is a World Series champion. This is a former, ace of a rotation. This is a former top prospect. I just think at his age, he's only 30 years old, but still, he's been in the league a long time. He made his debut all the way back in 2017. He's thrown over 200 innings in this league. For me, the symbolism is there to have Walker Buehler start opening day. But again, that doesn't matter in terms of what he brings. What the Red Sox hope that he brings is durability, production on the mound. He can take the ball every fifth day. Of course, in today's modern baseball, we're not expecting 220 innings. Those days are kind of over. But can he get back to the 175, 185 innings that we were used to seeing Buehler kind of perform back before the injury, back before the surgery, back before these last kind of 3 seasons have been derailed? That is very much on the table. Will he be a sub-3 ERA guy for the Sox? It might be a little bit of a lofty goal, but mid-3s with good K rate. We're really looking for. The Sox are really going to be looking for Buehler to return to that 20% K- walk rate. He did achieve that basically every year of when he started his career up until, the injuries crept up. The lowest being 19.6 in 2021, right around that 20% threshold. So that's a key metric there that I think Walker Buehler will be really, really productive, and that'll be what can help this Sox team take that next level. So Walker Buehler to the Red Sox, good move by the Sox. Conservative move, sure, not really that sexy big splash. They were in on Burns, they didn't get Burns. We'll talk about Burns in a second. They didn't get Freed. They weren't in the Snell sweepstakes. He signed before really it felt like anyone had that chance to kind of wine and dine the kid. But now they'll get Walker Buehler, and he'll be at top of the rotation with Garrett Crochet. And this rotation's now starting to round out a little bit. It's a lot deeper than it has been. I don't know if it's as dangerous or effective or as scary, heading into like a playoff series as, some of their other more competitive or some of the other big competitive teams in the AL and NL. But now we're going to have Walker Buehler, Crochet, Houck, Bayo, and then that fifth spot will kind of be a competition between Crawford and Lucas Giolito, who was reported that he will be ready to rock and roll early on in the season. So they'll have a little bit of depth there, a little bit of surplus that they just haven't had over the course of the last few years. And then, of course, in the second half, Patrick Sandoval will potentially be able to help out this rotation. So if Walker Buehler can get in there, give you 175, 180 innings at a 3.2 ERA, maybe like pushes that FIP that we've kind of grown accustomed to when it comes to Walker Buehler. This is his FIP over the course of his career is typically in the 3s to 4s. If he can return that FIP into the 3.7, I think the Red Sox got themselves a good pitcher here, a bulldog, a champion, and someone that obviously has tons of playoff experience. The Red Sox starting rotation has 2 total starts in terms of playoff experience. Walker Buehler brings almost 20, and that's exactly what they needed. Good signing by the Red Sox.